Hi guys, welcome to another video. So in this particular video, I'm just going to make you walk through one of the system which is pretty much similar to what you get in your OSCP. So I am taking this brain pan system and from TryHackMe, and I'll put the link in the description. You can go ahead and try on your own for solving this particular system. So once you turn on the system, you need to get the IP address and start an nmap on it. So if you see that I just had an nmap, and if I try to connect, there are two ports open basically. So I'll be connecting 9999. You just say welcome to BrentPan and enter your password. You just put AAA, it says access denied, right? So what we got an fudging point to start with. Now then we have another port open, that is 10,000. So what I'm going to do is try to open that on my browser, and if I open it correctly, okay, let me retype it. So this is what exactly you are going to get in OSCP also. Like, you'll get a system with immunity debugger and some application that is inside it, which will be vulnerable to buffer overflow. So you will be, given sufficient system and environment to basically craft your buffer overflow in order to make a successful exploit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a directory buster on that particular system and wait for getting some directory, sensitive directory. And meantime, I can also try with bin or even robot.txt to see if I can get some sensitive file. So luckily bin file has some binary. So in OSCP also you might not get the binary from the web application, but you'll be getting the binary placed in the remote desktop as well as inside the desktop file, only the binary along with the immunity debugger and all those things. So also you'll be provided with a skeleton Python file. In this case, I just wrote this one just to show you that this is how it is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a buffer of bunch of, let's say, 700 or anything. It's basically, so I would recommend in OSCP you can start with maybe 3000 number of A, and then see whether you're getting a overflow or not. In this case, I am modifying the IP address, so you also need to check the IP address properly to make the first exploit run properly, right? So make sure that you update the IP address and the port properly while running the exploit. So I have provided my local system IP address from the remote, victim system where my this particular binary is running. So I may go taken a little bit fast, so you have to pause anywhere if you are stuck or anything, like if you need any help, because otherwise the video will be more lengthy. So looks like everything is well set after the IP updation, and I'll just click on save and then start running. Now before running, I would also suggest you can try attaching to immunity debugger, but the first time we are just trying for the crash. So to see whether a particularly crash is happening or not. So the next step is basically create a pattern. So we'll be using MSF Venom create pattern and use a random characters, just like finding out for the which exactly EIP we are having the crash. So again, I will just use this create pattern command and copy the entire string and put the same entire string into the Python file. Okay, so now it's time to update the same values, and looks like everything is set. This will be double quote. Okay, and our buffer is now a bunch of random character. So once we hit the buffer overflow, we need to find out where exactly is the point where we have this exploit. Now all I have to do is take the help of Unity debugger and along with the start the program. Now please note, once you start the program and attach the file by going to file and attach, by default it comes to the pause state. So you need to allow it to run. Okay, so once you click on run button or the play button, it will start running. Then you need to run the exploit. Now if you run the exploit, you should have a crash. And the EIP got overwritten with some register value. Okay, we need to find out where exactly the EIP is getting overwritten with the random characters that we just now sent. So again, I will go to same path and look for pattern underscore offset dot rb and provide the queue as an parameter and then provide the address. Now it says that overflow found at character number 524. So we can quickly again verify whether that is really the 524 where EIP is getting overwritten. So all we'll do is like send again 512 number of, sorry, 524 number of A, and then some BBBB, because next instruction is going to be, or EIP is going to be BBBB in that case. and then we will put some C, or you can put any null or whatever you want to put, and after that, right? So now if I just go ahead and run the program, again you need to follow this habit of restarting Unity debugger and attaching the same program again and again while creating the exploit, because that's the only way to determine whether the cache is happening or where exactly it is happening, all those things. Again, click on run and then just send the particular payload. Now we should have a crash, and you can look at the EIP. It just got overwritten with BBBB as just we planned. So the next step for me is to basically find out a module. So once I click on M, there are different modules that is going to run. It's going to show. So next I'm going to type Mona, and Mona is basically an extension or small Python script that typically helps in automating a lot of things. Now it's completely optional. Without Mona also you could also do. So let's solve it without Mona and see whether it is working or not. So let's just go ahead and start the program and attach it, and just show you. Let me just show you again the entire process so that you don't get confused. So I just click on attach the same file. Where is it? Okay. And now it is in running state. Now if I go ahead and search for a particular instruction, that is your jump ESP, right? So you could also do by searching for Mona and look for a program that doesn't have ASLR dep and all those things, and then try. In that case, in this particular case, I'm just going ahead and tried with jump ESP, which is one of the simplest way of running. So
Okay,
I
let's just copy the jump ESP address and paste it so that we don't
and
forget.
see whether we are actually getting an overwrite at jump ESP point by replacing the BBBB with the jump ESP address. So what is going to happen is basically, jump ESP will redirect to the stack or stack pointer where we will put our shellcode, that is after C. So we need to override the address in a little Indian format, that is in the reverse order typically. And instead of CCC you can put shell or anything, but for this particular time being I'm just going to use this MSF Venom to create my shell code. So I just Google and picked up this MSF Venom line. You need to provide the L host as well as the L port parameter. Now so I just put my L host, the IP address of my system, and then allow this to run. Okay, so if I press enter, this will take slight bit of time for me. Okay, so I'm just going to create another variable name as cell code and copy paste the same content whatever is been generated by MSF Venom. Okay, why we are using this? Because we are just creating a reverse shell as per the OSCP exam, what you see, and as per the examination pass mark or the clearing. You need to submit the exploit, and for that you can use any of the cell code. So I am just going to copy paste the entire cell code inside a bracket. That's the best way actually. I guess I need to remove the semicolon or something. Okay, let's just go ahead and try whether it is running it or not. So if I run this exploit, okay, I need to modify actually. Let's just go properly. I need to put this some NOP. Why we are putting NOP? Because NOP will make the program execution or shell code execution really smooth. So let's just take an example like, if you are jumping from first floor and you have something below that, let's say there's a cotton bag kept below the landing pad, then it will be a smoother landing. Or you have some cloth and other thing, rather than you just jump on the cloth, direct soil or maybe in the hard surface. Again, there is some mistakes that was there which I did while creating the video, so I will just correct it. Okay, and if I run it, okay, there is the spelling mistake or something, that's why it is not running. So again I will go back and try to fix this. So you might encounter this kind of error during your exploit development, which is completely fine. Okay, so again I have provided NOP. I should increase it. Typically I keep 10 or even 20, depends on requirement, right? So there are again advanced technique exist where you have limited shell length and all those things, but in this case it's not. So this is again what I forgot. I should have actually set the netcat listener before running the exploit. No problem, we can still run the exploit and we can close the program and quickly verify. So my listener is running on port number 4444, and if I just quickly go back and start the program from the other Windows system and run it again and run the exploit again, which I'm just going to do right away. And let's just go to the directory And now if I run this Python exploit, one my listener is also listening. If I go back and check, I should have a remote shell or the command shell, right? So I can type who am I, if config. This is what you minimum need to take the proof that your exploit is working. So that's pretty much it about this particular video. I hope you would have liked it. Do let me know in the comment box if you have any query or anything. And I'm sure this system is going to help you if you are going for OSCP exam, and will give you clear idea how the OSCP buffer exploit or the final exam exploit is going to look like, or what are the steps you need to take basically in order to successfully gain the 25 mark or the valuable 25 mark to clear your OSCP. So thanks for watching. Have a great time. Bye bye.